Over the years, I've played a lot of outstanding video games, and I've managed to get my hands on most of them. No matter if it's Super Mario 64 or Ghost of Tsushima, they are the sole reason why video games can be amazing, and yet it's those handful selection of those titles that can and will hold up to the test of time. But then you have some video games that can appear out of nowhere with not much hype or build up, but surprisingly ends up being a memorable experience. And I can't think of a better video game genre than indie video games. So just for the hell of it, here are some of my indie video games I would recommend trying out, regardless if you like it or hate it. These are in no particular order, and it's all based on my personal experience with those games themselves. But definitely feel free to comment down below and continue the discussion on what other indie video games you would recommend. If you also would like a part 2 of this topic, then definitely let me know as well. Let's start off with the more recent release out of the list I'll be presenting, and that would be The Plucky Squire. It's a more interesting video game to discuss because the gameplay takes place within a book itself. So it's almost like you're going through a video game disguised as a novel. There'll be at times where the game will force you to actually exit the book and partake in some tasks in the real world to help progress into the chapters. The game looks pretty nice, I enjoyed the gameplay variety, and I enjoyed the puzzles with mix-matching words together to create or move objects. Now, realistically, this game isn't really that special or unique to stand out, but there's nothing more satisfying in a video game than playing as a hero, working your way up through hurdles until you defeat the evil and save the world. Or, in this case, save the pages. I gotta think of a better punchline. Or better yet, you don't even have to throw a punch because the next game to talk about is Outlast, a survival horror game where you explore a facility, uncover the truth, and try not to die. I managed to obtain this game years ago, and with horror games, they usually let the main character use fists and weapons to defend themselves. But not in this game. With using your video camera, you have to record footage while checking the area out. And the only thing you can do when being spotted is to run, hide, or simply lay down the ground and let nature take its course.
I can feel ants crawling inside my pants, and I find it to be quite pleasant.
Outlast was extremely popular back in the day, especially with classic YouTubers making gameplay videos on their experience with this game. And even after all these years later, this game does indeed still hold up well. It's intense in some sections and in some places, brutal and horrifying. Replaying it now, I still get goosebumps and freaked out from Outlast, even knowing exactly what's going to happen next. But maybe it's time to tune down the horror side of indie video games. Just joking, the next one is Uncanny Valley. Yeah, the graphics are very pixelated, and yeah, the text can be difficult to read. I seriously don't know what the fuck they're talking about sometimes, but this game does offer some nice horror themes to make you get up on your toes and look out for anything that's sus. You play as a character named Tom who just accepted a night shift working in an abandoned building, and from there you explore a facility, finding objects and reading emails to uncover a mystery. There's choices that you can make throughout the game, and each decision can have dire consequence on the game's outcome, making each playthrough feel different than the last. It's a little tough to talk about this game without spoiling it because the second and third act is where the action truly begins. And look, Uncanny Valley is nothing too special, but this hidden gem may surprise you with its dark tones and unexpected jump scares. So, who knows? Give this game a try and see if it's something you'll be interested in. And I know for a fact that the next game I'll be bringing up was a game I was heavily interested in from the word go, and that is Hades. I kept my eye on this game for a while before its release date, and even got this game as a birthday gift, so I was even more excited to try it out. Hades is a fun, roguelike action game where you put simply, beat down enemies and work your way up to try and escape. It may sound basic, but what brings this game together is the fighting gameplay mechanics. As you make it to the next section, you encounter different enemy types to defeat, and objects and traps to set off as well. What I really love about this game is the fact that you can upgrade your character to make him more tougher, and you can try to beat your previous record to see if you'll make it higher or not. And plus, me and my fiance have been listening to Epic the Musical featuring characters like Zeus and Athena, so that's another massive tick in my good box. Even after a few years have gone by, Hades is still fun to play through. Even though I may never get the chance to beat the game, what counts is having fun. much like the next game to talk about, and that is Kato. It's a puzzle game. You play as a young girl named Kato, and after getting separated from her grandmother, Kato has to find a way back to her grandmama by using the map she finds along her journey to move the lands around. What really makes this game enjoyable for me is the exploring section and how you have to find the missing maps and even help some friends along your path. It may be a cute game, but it can be quite tough in areas when even myself had some trouble making it past a section. But even still, it is rewarding to succeed in that puzzle solving. Give this game a shot. It is free to play if you have a PlayStation Plus membership, and it's also an easy platinum to require if you're a trophy hunter like myself. And with easy trophy collecting, here's Endling, Extinction is Forever. I made a small video on my trophy guide about Endling, so feel free to take a look at it if you're interested. Link in description. You play as a mother fox, and your job is to look after your precious cubs. However, one of them will be missing, so you will also have to track your cub down while looking after the others. This game can be quite depressing as the story goes along, and I like to believe this game hits a lot harder since I am a parent myself. But if you can push through it, then what you'll get is a pretty good story with how much the mother fox will go through and endure just to get the little ones to safety before something catastrophic happens. This game may last for an hour or two depending on your playstyle, but these couple of hours of spending your time on Endling will be sending you on emotional roller coasters. Moving from one animal to another, here is Stray. Instead of playing as a fox, you play as a cat. It's another adventure game where you accidentally fall down below and you have to try to make your way back up to the surface. Meanwhile, you stumble through NPCs to help out and these weird bug creatures to avoid. I don't know what they're called. What really highlights this game is the fact that you can do anything that a cat can do. You can scratch, jump, nudge, and there's even a button that lets you spam the cat into meowing. I've pressed the meow button more times than I can count. It's honestly really fun to play through if you're a massive cat lover, and exploring each area around from a cat's point of view does make you feel like a small fish in a big ocean. But even the smallest of creatures can make the biggest of impacts. And with that quote being told, here's Squirrel with a gun. And honestly, it's exactly how you think the game is. You play as a squirrel, grab some guns, and start blasting on your enemies. It's really weird and bizarre, but it's incredibly fun to play through. It's the only game I consider fun playing a squirrel and collecting nuts compared to Scrat from Ice Age. There's many guns to find and use, locations to discover, and different ways on how to collect nuts to progress. And hell, the music is actually pretty decent. Even the boss music, Take Your Shot, slaps real hard. To be frank, I wasn't expecting a whole lot with this game, but if anything, this game just shows you that if you have an idea in mind and want to show it off, then just do it. Make your hopes and dreams come alive and excel. And now I have one more indie video game to talk about, and since I used the quote hopes and dreams, here is Undertale. A game that's considered as the best indie game to a majority of gamers out there. There's so much to unpack about Undertale, from the story, the music, the characters, the writing, the bosses, the locations to visit. You can't really go wrong with Undertale. I have made a couple of videos on Undertale, including a Genocide review as well, so feel free to check them out if you like for a more in-depth discussion.
Holy Jesus Christ, my eyes!
My only complaint with Undertale is that I wish I can travel back in time to experience the game again with an open, fresh mind, because replaying it nowadays doesn't hit as much compared to your first playthrough. And the Sans boss battle can fuck right off. I love Undertale and consider it as one of my favourite games to play, and as for an indie video game, that says a lot. And that was some of my indie video games I would recommend trying out. Once again, feel free to comment down below on what other indie video games you would recommend to other people playing it, and until next time, thank you for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. My name is Justin Hurst, telling you to keep calm and keep playing video games.